Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
It is officially time for the young wide receiver pups to earn their role. At number 44 on our roster countdown, Jacob Cowing. And I'm very thankful that we waited to record this episode. This is the day that Juwan Jennings has requested a trade or a new deal. So Jacob Cowing's influence, importance, all those things, way more so than ever before. Now, I do fully expect Juwan Jennings to be on the 49ers for the 2025 season and to play. However, that contract situation gets resolved. Trading, I just don't think is an honest option. But the reliance on sophomore wide receiver Jacob Cowing, who, in the words of Kyle Shanahan, said, he was the guy that gained the most this offseason. And so that's huge. He said, quote, Jacob, I thought, put in some of the most work that anyone did over the offseason. I think it's really transferred over into those OTA practices. So stock up, which is interesting because last year, and this is probably a problem of our overall assessment of our roster countdown series through 5 years, we overinflate the rookies. We get a little too excited. But when you look at the numbers, last year Jacob Cowing was 41. This year he was 44. The four ballots for importance of the 2025 season, listen to this, 42, 43, 43, 44. We have consensus. Now, let's go through just what makes Jacob Cowing who he is. Wears jersey number 19, new jersey number. I do kind of like that. 5'8", 171. Tiny, Mighty Mouse type, less than 30-inch arm length. That's tiny. He's 24 years old, so a little bit longer in the tooth. Ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. Speed demon. Top 88th percentile of NFL wide receivers. 1.54 10-yard. That's good. 7.02 3-cone. Decent. Smaller guys usually a little bit better there. 36-inch vertical. Great. 9'11 broad jump. Good. You look at his athletic comps and kind of what he compares with when you enter in his measurables. Tutu Atwell, Greg Dortch, Tyler Lockett, those types of hybrid slot wide receivers usually because they're smaller, but not so fast. And I even wrote about this in our pre-draft write-up that, traditionally guys like Jacob Cowing would be slot-only wide receivers. But no, because of the elite speed and corners not being able to jam him at the line because he's so shifty and so quick that he is going to be an outside wide receiver in the 49ers offense. And you look at his snaps last year, 45 snaps at the slot wide receiver position, 59 out wide. So he does have the versatility in today's NFL. Guys like Tank Dell and Tyler Lockett and some of those guys kind of pave the way for this new undersized, tiny wide receiver that can threaten over the top because of the elite speed. And without a doubt, the best play of his young rookie career, it was that 50-yard reception. It would have been a walk-in touchdown. Brock underthrew it a little bit, but secured the catch. So, he's got the big play ability to take the speed off the top. He just has to be more consistent. Halfway through, a little over 3/4 of the way through the season last year when it was apparent 49ers have no playoff hopes whatsoever, Kyle Shanahan was asked, what's going to take for Jacob Cowing to get more work? And Kyle Shanahan said, he's got to earn it. He's got to earn it. So the question is a resounding, did he in fact earn it this offseason? He's already got the check of approval from Shanahan and the work that he's put in. Can the mental reps, learning where to line up, all that kind of stuff. He had 2 penalties the last 2 weeks of the season whenever his snap counts increased that caused major issues, lined up the wrong way. So can that change? Now, his high school, he's another Arizona wide receiver. I feel like all of the 49ers wide receivers have some type of Arizona connection. Played at Maricopa High School. Then he went to UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso, was there for 3 years, transferred to the Arizona Wildcats, was there for 2 seasons, and just really balled out everywhere he went. Raised in Phoenix, and he was a track stud. Yeah, the speed has been evident throughout his entire – a 10.7 in the 100-meter dash. That's good, but his 200-meter dash, that is what's impressive. A 21.6. Anything under 22, pretty freaking elite. He finished second and then third in state in back-to-back years in the state of Arizona. Became a father at 18. Son's named Chase, and very mature for his age. He's 24 years old, but was forced to grow up at a young age. And he transferred from UTEP to Arizona just so he could be closer to his son back in 2022. So you got to love the family props and all that. I think that's huge. He has a couple very elite traits. Caught a pass in 57 straight games. Second longest streak in NCAA history. That's incredible. Never missed a game in 5 years. And you look at that, Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall, those dudes never missed time, never missed a game since they've gotten to the NFL. A lot of bumps and bruises, a lot of missed time, a lot of missed practices. Still hasn't missed too many games, but he did have 2 injuries this year. He left the game in week 4 with the shoulder issue and then left a game in week 11 with a concussion, but no long-term injuries, nothing like that. And so whenever you see these wide receivers like Jacob Cowing that are smaller and more compact, you get a little worried about that. But this dude hasn't missed a game in 5 years in college. I think that's huge. Was an All-Conference USA second-team player, All Pac-12 honorable mention, Alamo Bowl offensive MVP. And remember, he was the opposite wide receiver of Tet McMillan at Arizona. And so for him to get a lot of those kind of awards and whatever opposite of Tet McMillan, I think that's pretty impressive. Smart guy, commissioner's academic honor roll, and models his game after Tyler Lockett, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, those small, shifty guys, and prides himself on hard work. Now, back-to-back off seasons, Jacob Cowing has worked and partnered with Ricky Pearsall and worked out. And again, this offseason, Ricky Pearsall early on, Brock Purdy. There's videos out. Go check out the YouTube. Just type in Jacob Cowing offseason workout. Running routes in Florida with Brock Purdy and, Ricky Pearsall and Anthony Richardson. Just getting work in. Love that. The 49ers were kind of set back. They had an official meeting with Jacob Cowing before the draft. He wrote a thank you letter after his visit with the Niners, which was huge. Kyle Shanahan said, "It was your thank you letter that you put us over the top. You were raised right. That is awesome," end quote. Whatever you could do to stand out. And I think it's a big deal. He was the only wide receiver in the draft last year to come out with 85 catches in consecutive seasons. The consistency is there. The negative 35 drop passes in his career wasn't much of an issue last year. That's not why he did not play. It was the lack of blocking, the lack of alignment, and just consistency out there. That's what he has to get to, and that's what he's got to work at. The run blocking was a major issue, and he's small. But, we go back to my pre-draft write-up before he was drafted, and yeah, you see this tiny wide receiver out there, and you're like, dude, this guy, how's he going to run block? It's effort and feet, which was great. His run blocking grade last year, 45.5. Not good. That needs to step up. Does he make that sophomore leap this year? Man, the 49ers could really use him. And they brought in competition. Another small, undersized, punt return, kick returner, speed guy, Junior Bergen with the 7th-round pick. So now there's even more. Jacob Cowing was the team's primary punt returner all last year and was good at it. He had one muff punt, which we didn't lose. And then Darrell Luter Jr. ran into him one time, and we did lose that one. But as a freshman punt returner, did his job. Really did his job. Now he's got competition there. And so that's going to be a little bit of a camp battle to watch. That punt return, kick return job. Who's going to win that? And with injuries at the wide receiver position, Demarcus Robinson might be suspended earlier. No way Brandon Ayuk's going to be ready. I don't care what the claims are week 1. So, man, Jacob Cowing could be the starting number 3 wide receiver. If there are issues with Juwan Jennings, Jacob Cowing could be the starting number 2 wide receiver. Him and Ricky Pearsall might be out there on play 1. Wide receiver position is thin. A lot of young guys, Jordan Watkins, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing, Isaiah Nayer. There's a lot of young guys out there. Somebody's got to step up. It just is. Now, the 49ers selected him in the 4th round, the 135th pick, and he's just got to find a way to get more snaps at the wide receiver position. You look at his snaps last year. Only 4 catches. Not good for a wide receiver. Now, 3 of those went for a first down. That's huge. 80 receiving yards. That's great. One of those was a 50-yard catch. but 20 yards per catch. He had 1 carry for 7 yards. He can be a gadget guy. With Debo gone, it's very possible Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall will be those two. Dark horse, Malik Knowles, I think, could also play that role. 170 total snaps. Most of those were on special teams. He had 28 punt returns for 245 yards. That's 8.8 yards per punt return. That's solid. The number you want to be above is 7. And again, 8.8 yards. That's basically 1 fewer first down that the 49ers offense has to get every single time he catches a punt return. That's huge. Longest punt return of the year, his rookie year, was 30 yards. He had 1 kick return for 37 yards. Really wish he would have got more chances there. Signed a 4-year, $4.5 million deal. His rookie year is over. Made a combined 1.3 career earnings so far and played in 15 games his rookie year. Can he take the step up? That is the question, and that's what we got to see. Jacob Cowing's a lock for this roster. He's going to be involved, whether in the return game, punt and kick, and just in the wide receiver. He can play outside, can play slot, he can play Z, X, he can play all 3. He's just got to get the playbook down, be more consistent. Seems like he's taken advantage of his offseason. Can he excel himself to be the number 2 or 3 wide receiver while Ayuk and Demarcus Robinson's out? And then can he stave off all the guys behind him? Isaiah Hodgins, Russell Gage, all the young bucks, undrafted free agents that they've added. Can he keep those guys behind him and at bay? It'd be the best case for the 49ers if Jacob Cowing is a formidable part of the offense this year. Comes in number 44 on our list. I have to thank Josh, Ben, and Zach, executive producers. And man, I really hope we are wrong about Jacob Cowing, and he's a top 20 player on this list next year. 49ers could really use some offensive firepower from the wide receiver position that is consistent. Come on, Jacob Cowing, get it done.